Fela Kuti, who happens to be your father, will be crying, will be weeping in the grave wherever he is, because you are not a true representation of his ideology, of his belief. He was a fearless man who could look to the deadly governments and tell them the truth in their faces. Who do you reflect? Who do you look like? And you are not criticizing not to go and stay abroad. What are you, an agitator? Why not keep your mouth closed if you don't know what to say? I have a great respect for your father. Having listened to some of his video, his passion, I mean, in justice, in equity, in human development. He fought the monsters. He fought his fears. He conquered his fears. He was able to confront the monsters, the cabals, the dead devils who destroyed the very essence of humanity within Nigeria. He was daring. I saw the lion in him, the passion to create a healthy society, a vibrant society that will be a representation of the people's choice and will, where everyone can aspire and fulfill his aspirations and be treated equally. Now, you said Nigeria is a democratic setting. What do you mean? A democratic process, a democratic system where there is endemic corruption, where even those who are supposedly representatives of the people are looting the public funds? What kind of democracy is that? Are you engaging your senses? Where people are not allowed to participate in the electioneering process without being usurped their rights to choose who should represent them, who should be their president, was usurped, hijacked in a broad daylight. And you never condemn that. If your father were to be alive today, the way he condemned Babangida, condemned Obasanjo, he would have condemned this democracy we are in. In fact, it had become more worse than when he was condemning. So one should have expected that you to step into the shoes of your father and continue where he stops. If you really meant to honor him, he will be weeping because of you. Fela Kuti of blessed memory is weeping because of you, Seun Kuti. Because I have seen that cowardice, that irresponsibility on your part. What concerns you if they have to fight for injustice from wherever they reside? You that is within Nigeria, why are you not fighting for injustice? Or you have not seen, you have not heard what is happening in this country? I expected you to have marched down to Abuja since you are in Nigeria and continue where your father stopped. Your father died a celebrated hero, though he could not have achieved or experienced what he fought for. He fought for justice and equity, but he never had it. He never experienced it until his death. The same thing he fought for is still lingering today. The injustice, the marginalization, the suppression of the common masses are being escalated, are being sustained by this by successive governments who are only driven by the selfish quest, selfishness to gratify their senses, to settle those around them, their cronies, political allies, and cronies. You are seeing all these things, and you still have the guts to criticize Sunday Igbo, who fought, who spoke out because of the reckless killings of his own people, the Yoruba people, by the supposed Fulani militaries. the massacre in Oyo and other parts of the West, which you never came to speak against. Who are you? What do you represent? You're a bad son of a good man. But I'm not here to insult your person, but to give you opportunity to have a rethink and tender unreserved apology to Sunday Igboho and Prime Minister Simon Ekpa for insulting the intelligence of your listeners. Your argument was not logical, was baseless, was not informative. How can you convince Nigerians that Nigeria practices democracy? What is your definition of democracy? Tell the world what is your definition of democracy. The government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Is Nigerian government for the people of Nigerians? Does it represent the will of the common masses or the majority of the Nigerian populace, which you are one of them? Having to see the level of hunger, hardship, people are losing their jobs, the companies are winding up, and you said you are in a democratic settings. Monies belonging to the masses are being looted by the privileged few, and you are silent about that. You have the God, you have the effrontery to challenge those who has the empathy, the feelings for humans, for their people. It's quite ridiculous. It's quite funny. Possibly, you might be looking for relevance, seeking for relevance or attention. That is not the best way. Your father never did so to seek for relevance. Your father took the path that was less traveled by men, the path of confrontation, the path of doggedness, commitment, ruggedness, in fighting for what is just, what is true, and what is godly. Your father even said, what they are practicing in Nigeria is demon crazy, demon crazy. And you, who happens to be his son, is saying Nigeria practices democracy. Where is the democracy? Where is sitting an ex-government governor was alleged to have stolen close to 90 billion belonging to the state treasury. And those states are one of the impoverished, poverty stricken states in Nigeria. Are you not aware of that? I mean, you are not aware of that. You should cover your face in shame. Go to the grave of your father and apologize to him. Seun Kuti should go to the grave of his father. Let blessed memory of blessed memory, Fela Kuti, and apologize to him. Fela said Nigeria was practicing demon crazy, and you happens to be his son. When Fela made these confessions, Nigeria was a bit okay then compared to what is now. And you have the guts to insult your father in the grave by saying that Nigeria is practicing democracy. It's an insult, an affront to your father who fought for justice, who fought for humanity, who saw the pains and agony of defenseless, voiceless masses, who became the voice of the voiceless, who stood and took the pen to confront the enemies at the gate. He was never deterred despite the threats to his life. He maintained his composure. He stood for what is right, using the instrumentality of music to address injustice, to address imbalance, to address corruption, to address wickedness, perverting the Nigerian system. And by his submission, final submission, he said Nigeria is far from democratic process. That Nigeria is a man practicing democracy. How suddenly you came to insult the intelligence of your listeners and insult your father who is restive in the grave. Because when he still watch from where he is now and see the agonies of the masses, which he said, of course, the masses of Nigeria are yet to suffer more. Because possibly he may have seen that you will not step into his shoe to continue the agitation, to continue demanding for justice, for the right thing to be done, for a society, for an egalitarian society. That is what he preached, he fought for. Though he never had it, he never experienced it. That wasn't a reality in his lifetime. Then if other people comes up and say, no, we must not leave this in critical issues untouched. This level of injustice must be addressed. This level of impunity must not be swept under the carpet. And you're asking them, come to Nigeria, where your father never got justice, your grandmother never got justice. What is your business asking them to come? Or possibly have you been engaged to become a distraction to those who are minding their business? Are you a Biafran? I expected you to have sung songs to encourage Sunday Igbohu and discourage the senseless killings going around the entire Southwest, where you hail from. But you never did that. You only have the opportunity to criticize those who are moved by empathy, by the sympathy and the courage to address the injustice. What do you understand by self-determination? Go and read Nigerian constitution. Is Nigeria against self-defense, self-determination? Nigerian constitution recognizes self-defense, self-determination. The individuals or group of persons have the right to self-determination. Rediscovering yourself and your identity, tenaciously holding on, preservation of your identity, your cultural heritage, and prosperity is enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Go back and read it. It's not all about ranting, coming to the social media to seek for popularity. It's not what, of course, my drive is, but to call your attention to what you needed to know. It's quite unfortunate. Time will not permit me to continue, but nevertheless, I hope you will get this video and this video will be helpful to you. The first thing I demand that you render on the, of course, unreserved apology to Sunday Bowu and Mazis Simon Epa for insulting their persons and what they believe and what they stood for, regardless of wherever they are. And the second one is to go to your father's grave and apologize to him for believing that Nigeria is practicing democracy. Democracy where people committed and nationalist youths who are patriotic went to demonstrate the injustice, the misgovernance, and the way people, workers, are being maltreated, including the forcemen, and demanded that better remuneration, better welfare package for the workers, and let good governance and accountability be, of course, the order of the day. They were shot dead at Lekki Target. Is that democracy?